Bitcoin is in a very tricky position right now. We have managed to rally up fairly well, right? We went up to 27.6 up here. And I mean, you know, we pulled off a good rally. But what's been happening since then is we've actually now just fallen back down to our area of support over here. And granted, like, okay, at least we are still above support, or like basically at it. I know we're slightly below it, but you know, I mean, it's really all the same thing down here. You know, so I'm glad that we haven't lost it by like a big margin or anything like that. You know, but the fact that we are down here, I mean, you know, it's really starting to look like what Bitcoin has actually done here. And we've covered this possibility on the channel before. Those of you that are subscribed are going to know about this, is that, you know, we had this kind of the bulk of the resistance up here, right? And I covered this with you a lot. We had, you know, the $28,000 level was quite treacherous for Bitcoin. We knew why. You know, we've got this horizontal, you know, kind of box of price action. I can start this box actually a little bit higher, somewhere around here. You know, where there's just, you know, a lot of reversals happening, right? I mean, the market kind of, you know, trades sideways here, finding support. It finds resistance. I mean, it's happened across, you know, a very large time frame. And so naturally, yeah, we got pretty close to it, and we have seen a rejection. And, you know, I also want to remind you guys that we had that 4-hour Ichimoku resistance cloud looming overhead as well. So, you know, none of this takes us by surprise. We knew that we had to expect this particular drop here. But what we're looking at now, as a result of that, is yeah, we are losing our footing, right? I mean, you know, ultimately, if we just kind of remove all the shit on this chart and actually, just to be honest, just cut out all the noise, you know, we can see quite clearly that, you know, Bitcoin has now, in fact, let's just remove everything. We don't need any of these lines anymore. You know, we had this floor, you know, around like, I guess here basically, and what we've done is we fell down by quite a bit, and we recovered by a good amount as well. You know, our percentage rise from bottom to top was about 7-8%. I mean, it's not enormous, but it's definitely, you know, not super tiny either. It's not the 2-3% kind of, you know, bounces that we get a lot of the time in this market. This was a little bit more significant than that. But the only thing it's done is, you know, it only allowed our resistance to materialize again. You know, the only thing that this did, the only thing it achieved, was we've been trending down, and we are now, you know, basically confirming an area of resistance and falling lower. So I want to take a look at some of our key metrics to give me some sort of indication of, you know, what do the other kind of data suggest? Are they pointing in the same direction? If we take a look at the long and short ratio, this is good. We're seeing, you know, retail longs continue to come down, you know, not by a lot, to be honest. It's really not moving by a huge amount, but we were, you know, well above 2, you know, even weeks ago. I don't know about recently, but, you know, we've been at like 1.8 and above for a while. So, you know, we are pulling back a little bit. You know, top traders seem to have pulled back a little bit, and Bybit traders too. Bybit traders are actually majority short right now. So, you know, that's definitely interesting. But our fear and greed index, we're still sitting in neutral territory, guys. This is the thing, is like people aren't actually that bearish right now. You know, but this is pretty compelling. I mean, you know, the fact that we're still kind of holding on is a good sign, you know, so I don't want to say that everything's lost right now, but, you know, as far as our like actual interactions with our levels go, you know, we have quite clearly, I mean, if I move this box to represent that other area of resistance that I was describing earlier in the video at about $28,000, you know, we have quite clearly just kind of fallen out of a range and back tested it as resistance. And, you know, when we look for kind of, you know, technical analysis signs that, you know, kind of tell us what this market is feeling and where it might be headed, this is a pretty weak sign. I mean, this is a sign of weakness. You know, when you back test the previous area of importance on the chart and you find resistance, especially if you do that after breaking out of the sideways range that we had, supported by this yellow line, or maybe we move the line up to here. You know, depending on how you interpret these support and resistance levels, it doesn't really matter because we're all talking about the same kind of relative ranges. But you know, if you're looking at it from these perspectives, then yeah, you know, Bitcoin's found itself in a little bit of trouble. I guess what I'm, you know, quite grateful for is that, you know, the dollar has rallied up a lot, you know, in the wake of this, and it's probably what caused this. In fact, for the first time, the dollar's moves have actually impacted gold, and gold has now slipped down to the bottom of its support range right here. It's still in support, but it has started to get a little bit of a hit now, and that's as the dollar has continued to pick up some strength. Now, this is one of the main predictions that I made to you guys on this YouTube channel, because breaking out of this sideways range where I've defined the resistance level as this green box right here was a big deal. It was a strong indication to us that the dollar might be ready to rally up by quite a bit more. Now, I don't know why that's going to happen, and I don't care why that's going to happen. For all I'm, it doesn't matter. For all I'm concerned, the banks of each country, the central banks, are colluding with each other, telling each other to buy the dollar, and they even admitted to doing that anyway. And maybe they're just, I don't know, finally starting. It doesn't really matter. I'm here to analyze the charts and then take positions based off them. So, paying attention to news headlines that can be manipulated or government agencies that can lie is not productive for me. What is productive for me is just looking at the numbers and the data and the trends. And obviously we've been doing that very well on this YouTube channel with correctly predicting that the dollar might continue to shoot up. And, again, I think that given where Bitcoin is right now, the last time the dollar was the last time the dollar was shooting up, Bitcoin was down here. Now the dollar is higher than when it topped out previously, and Bitcoin hasn't dropped as low. That's a really good sign of strength. It's almost like, even though the dollar is showing even more strength now, Bitcoin is still holding on pretty well. Now, for those of you that don't know, this is quite simply just because, when the dollar is looking strong, people tend to sell their, speculative assets, and they're more willing to hold the dollar. When the dollar is looking weak, that's when people start making investments. So, that's going to really ring quite a few bells right now over the last few years for all of us, because, we've started to look at more investments over the last few years because our home country's currencies typically have been getting weaker, right? So we want to get ahead a little bit and make investments and kind of outpace that. So, that's what people do. Interestingly, S&P 500, this is consolidating now like a shitcoin that's been completely forgotten on fucking Poloniex or Bittrex. Shout out to those of you that know what I'm talking about there. This is really turning into something that's quite strange. And by the way, I just want to very quickly remind you guys about the Bybit giveaway. I actually completely forgot about this. They're doing the iPhone giveaway. It ends today. It might have already ended, to be fair, but if not, you have got a few hours. So just check it out with the link in the description down below. All you've got to do is sign up using my link to Bybit in the description down below and make your first $100 deposit. They're actually going to be drawing a winner. I'm going to be drawing a winner, my bad, tomorrow here on this YouTube channel. So it's up to me. We can, if you're watching now and you haven't had your last chance to enter this giveaway, do it right now. Follow the link in the description to Bybit, sign up, make your first $100 deposit, and you will be entered into that iPhone giveaway. So that is well worth checking out for those of you that are interested in that kind of thing. And then we'll probably be picking the winner, right here on tomorrow's video. So definitely do that. If you're interested in getting a free iPhone there. S&P 500 holding really strong as well, which is, again, a good indication to us of how, this traditional finance still isn't in a bad place, right? Even if gold loses this level right here, it's just in such a strong position overall that the only thing we'd be doing is forming a good pullback, before potentially getting ready for a big explosive leg up. So I'm not worried about where gold is. I'm certainly not expecting it to be in some sort of long-term downtrend, the flip side of that is if gold is not going to be in a long-term downtrend, it's probably either going to go sideways or it's probably going to go up. And that probably means bad things for the dollar, right? The dollar is rallying up right now, but like I said, resistance sits here at about 104. Now, granted, that's quite far away. That probably means, quite a bit more carnage for Bitcoin, unfortunately. I don't make up the rules here. This is just how it is. But if we do end up going up there, that's definitely where the dollar could encounter some trouble. Look at the top line right here and how it's been able to predict resistance, support right here, resistance back here. This has been pretty important. If this level fails, I will be looking at the 105 to 106 area on this chart as well. But that is quite far away. But right now, it does look like we are forming that second bounce. And I covered this possibility with you guys quite a bit on this YouTube channel. So really, this move isn't taking us by surprise whatsoever. I told you guys that, first off this level, we got a strong bounce. This time we're taking a while, so we might get a weak bounce, but I wouldn't expect the bounce to be very big. And then, basically what we're going to end up doing is forming a descending triangle, right? We'd form a descending triangle with a resistance level like that. Our floor would stay the same. And that's, a very healthy bit of, kind of price action for a chart like this. These charts move slowly. They're very boring. They're, to be honest, they're quite frustrating. But, all things considered, I think that we are looking fairly strong, considering where the dollar is. It could have been so much worse. And I think that altcoins are similar. Altcoins have been, on the brink of some really, really big drops for a while, and they just haven't fallen. Like, Solana, this is really interesting. If you look at Solana against Bitcoin, like Solana against the dollar has been pretty much just sideways. Solana against Bitcoin over this last kind of month or so has actually, you can see, like, it's actually been gaining strength. It's been setting higher lows right here. So there are underlying signs of strength in this market. Those signs of strength are even showing themselves with altcoins. If we take a look at Bitcoin's dominance, here we go. Look at this, right? I mean, we're still in the same place. Now, granted, this is still a very scary image for altcoin holders, but this is where you've got a high amount of risk and definitely a high amount of potential reward if it goes in your way. So, we're not here to just shy away from risk completely, because otherwise you'll never make any money. Now, by the way, I do want to highlight to you that if you are interested in taking advantage of the markets, then yeah, Bybit is going to be the main place to trade for me. It always has been and it'll always continue to be that way, I'm sure. But for those of you that don't want to trade just on Bybit, they will give you up to $30,000 in trading ammunition, just free money that they will give you to trade with. Any trades you make, if you make any profits, you can withdraw them. It's really, really cool. So that is amazing. But, if you do want to use an exchange that doesn't actually require KYC, that isn't going to, I'm losing my, right here, yeah, that isn't going to ask you for your ID and a picture of yourself, and has access to all of these markets, then check these out on screen right here. Yeah, I thought my internet cut out there for a second. That was really weird. You've got indices, commodities, forex, and stocks all available. Over $5,000 in bonuses that you're going to get when you sign up using my link in the description down below as well. So there's a lot going on here. It's well worth checking out. You can find the link to that in the description as well right here. No KYC and more than $5,000 in bonuses, and Bybit right here as well. Check them both out. And I want to remind you again, Bybit is the exchange which is running that giveaway. So all you have to do is sign up here and deposit $100. That is it. You can withdraw the $100 after tomorrow. That's not my concern, but I will be choosing a winner on the next video. So definitely 100% make sure that you are subscribed to this. I'm sorry, that you have deposited $100 to this exchange if you are interested in participating in that giveaway today, as soon as possible before I draw that winner in tomorrow's video. But yeah, if we do bring it back to the chart right here and take a look at where Bitcoin is, again, it's the same thing, right? If we do end up kind of continuing to move down, we're going to have to find support eventually. It might not be immediately, but it's going to come eventually. And 25K remains the only strong candidate for support for Bitcoin, in my opinion. Obviously we could slide lower, and there's really good support for Bitcoin down to 24. But even below that, even below this kind of pocket, we've got really good support kind of all over the charts. So I'm still not super worried. There is one chart that I thought which is really interesting. I wanted to share it with you. It's actually from one of our lifetime VIP members. We don't actually offer a lifetime subscription anymore, but shout out to that guy for taking advantage of it when I did offer it, because yeah, he is one of the very few people that have ever actually gotten it. And right here, what's really cool about it is I've actually forgotten how to draw it, but what we're looking at is a really, really interesting wedge, and it looks something, yeah, a little bit like this. I haven't drawn it completely perfectly here, but oh yeah, so we are actually drawing it from about here. It looks something a little bit like this. And what's really interesting about this line is that it allows for a drop down to like $23,000, but also what it is it's a bearish pattern. Now I haven't drawn it 100% perfectly right here on this chart, but what we're looking for overall is just this very clear pattern that we have been trending upwards slowly within a bear market. I mean, no, you can draw it, in any different way like this, or the way that I had it just a second ago. But what's very clear is that this is a trend which has been rallying up, right? And whether it looks like a broadening wedge or, I could also draw this with a parallel channel, and show you something similar. It doesn't hugely matter. What we're looking for is just the kind of general characteristic of what this trend represents at the moment. And that is that, we are in a, bearish trend right now where, like we've been long-term in a bear market, and we're just kind of, forming our bear market rally. And that's exactly what we've known that Bitcoin is in for a while. I've been covering that with you on this channel for a long time. I've known this for a long time, and that's why I've told you the same thing. We've known that Bitcoin is in a bear market, and that we're forming a bullish rally within that bear market, but that picture really kind of makes it a little bit more clear. I'm going to clarify that even more for you in a future video, because that's a whole video in and of itself. If you want to see that, let me know by telling me in the comment section down below. Just drop a comment saying make the long-term video. I guess that's it's more of a long-term view. So if you are interested in that, definitely let me know. And then, the final thing I want to talk about to balance out this analysis, because it has been, fairly negative overall. The final thing I do want to stress is that, we haven't quite lost the level yet. Depending on how you draw it, we are still kind of holding on. Bitcoin forms deviations all the time, so we don't want to rule this out completely. The long and short ratios are all coming back down a little bit. Is it enough? I don't think so, but maybe you'll disagree with me, and obviously that would be completely fine if you did, because I don't hold all the answers. And then the other thing would be, the key level to reclaim for Bitcoin is still 28K. So if we are able to get a $1,500 move up from here, which is only a 5% move for Bitcoin. It's really not that big of a deal for Bitcoin anymore to pull off a 5% move. Then that will pull us right now from our current price. That will pull us above the resistance area, which could have some very significant changes for us in this market. So there we go, looking okay. I'm still not worried about it. I can't be, to be honest. We're still extremely high above our lows, and we're only trading sideways at a resistance level. So even if we do get rejected, we started off with so much strength that I'm sure we're going to find that strength again, when we drop down to lower levels, if we get there. So there you go, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this one. One last time, make sure to get yourself entered into that iPhone giveaway if you are interested. You only have to deposit $100. You can withdraw it straight out tomorrow. You don't even need to do KYC for that. And if you are interested in taking advantage of BingX with these huge bonuses available to you and access to a bunch of other markets, like trading Tesla, trading the S&P 500, trading gold and oil, you can do all of that without KYC and with huge bonuses with BingX linked down below. So there you go. I hope you have enjoyed this one. You know what to do, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.